Congratulations, you're neurodivergent. Now you know how your brain works and why everything has felt so off and so weird for your whole life. Now that you can just fix it, right? Oh no, my friend. What nobody tells you is that knowing is actually just the beginning of a much longer, much messier, and sometimes deeply disorienting process. Hey, I'm Dr. Regina Ph.D., and this is Divergent Paths, the podcast where we unpack the lived experiences of late-diagnosed neurodivergent adults. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter, Nerd Notes, where I share even more tips for making your unique brain feel like home. The link is in the show description. In this episode, Russ and I are getting into a pretty profound gap, the one between knowing you're neurodivergent and actually living differently, because that's where most of us live for an undetermined amount of time.
Yeah, this is something that I've wanted to ask about for a while, because it does feel like it's like you get the diagnosis and it's, what is that? What is that gap?
What goes on in there? Yeah, there's There's this dissonance of the experience of having the language and the name for your experience, but you're still being as you did before you knew, right? Because your life is already built. You've already got relationships, you've got a job or a career, and you've got things happening that don't just change overnight because you suddenly have this knowledge. And along with that, you have this awareness that comes of masking while you're still doing it. And you start to become aware of the energy drain and how exhausting it is to live in a life that doesn't match how your brain works.
Yeah, I'm going to make a really weird comparison here, but just because this is what I do.
Right.
But like I don't know, a few years ago, there was a pipe in my house. Like I heard this drip, like when I would be in the backyard. And then I saw some like little flies. And I'm like, what is this? What is going on? Once I found out that I saw a leak and I confirmed that there was a leak underneath my house, it came with instant stress and instant like, what do I do about this? How do I fix this? What do I do? It's worse knowing. Right. And I know I'm being ridiculous in this, but
you are and you aren't. It's like perfect.
You don't even know what to do about the leak. You don't know how to fix
right?
this. What do you do? YouTube? Right. Do you call a plumber? What do you do?
Exactly. Yeah. How serious is it? How big of a change is it going to be? How much money is it going to cost you?
Exactly.
How much of a drain on your executive function is it going to be to fix this leak? Yes, that's exactly what it's like. You knew something was off and you knew, okay, this is odd and this is weird that this is happening and there are some things I should be concerned with. And then you get the, oh my God, this is a big thing that's happening and I need to do something about this. So it's like that. It doesn't, the knowledge doesn't automatically tell you what to do. Like you said, do I go on YouTube? Do I search? Do I call a plumber? This isn't you trying to strong arm your way through this, right?
Right.
You're just like, I don't know. I have all these choices of what to do. And think of how different it is for us too. This is totally an aside, but this is a neurodivergent podcast, so we'll do this. Think of how different it is for us as adults compared to what our parents went through. Because our parents wouldn't have questioned this at all. They would have been like, oh my God, there's a leak. I'm going to make a phone call, right? They wouldn't have had the option to check YouTube and potentially fix it themselves, right? Which is similar for people who are discovering they're late diagnosed. You're listening to this podcast to help understand that you're not alone at this time. And this isn't a strange thing that's happening to you. It's happening to many of us.
Okay. Just again, like the leak, right? Now suddenly I've got to reorganize things, right? Because now, so what happened? I call a plumber. Now all of a sudden we can't use the kitchen. Can't use the washer.
Yeah.
Water really can't leave my house.
Yes. Yeah.
We've got to reorganize everything. And that was a huge pain. So I would think there's a hard part here involved with having to reorganize everything in your life.
Sure. Like you've invested in systems and personas that got you this far, things that protected, things that helped you. Being the capable one over delivering, perfectionism, being the person who handles everything because that kept you safe. And there's a grief that we've talked about before that often goes under acknowledged in this part of the process, where even as you let go of things you know are not serving you, that were hurting you, that were hurting your relationships, that were hurting your connections, that were hurting your work, even as you start letting go of those things, that process is hard. It's hard to move away from something that kept you stable for so long.
You're essentially relearning most everything.
Most everything.
Yeah. That's a lot of YouTube videos.
It's a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of podcasts. But what the beauty in this is that you can do this intentionally, right? What happens a lot of time for people who are late diagnosed with neurodivergence, who come later in their life to realize they have ADHD or autism or a host of other neurodivergent tendencies, end up experiencing deep amounts of burnout that they don't recover from. You don't get the skills back a lot of time when you get to that point of burnout. So if you're intentionally unmasking versus having your whole world collapse upon you, you have a lot more agency in how you handle things. And that really is a positive. It's hard to look at it as a positive because, yeah, there is so much work to do. There's relationships that need to be repaired. There's careers that potentially need to be changed. Your expectation of yourself needs to shift. That's so much to go through. But being able to be leading it versus it leading you is profoundly different.
Yeah. So I could go down this path of asking you about all the things that changed, but instead, I'm going to go the opposite direction here. What did you think was going to change, but didn't?
Oh, wow. What did I think was going to change that didn't? I thought more of my relationships would suffer, honestly. You don't know when you start unmasking how people are going to respond to you. And I've been unbelievably thankful that our relationship got deeper and better and stronger through this, which has been my experience of most of my relationships, not all of them. They didn't all survive, as we know. I've talked about this before. But being able to discover that those relationships could deepen and be stronger, and it just made things so much easier. Just being able to be genuine and having people recognize it. Because one of the things we don't think about, one thing I think I only just realized about the masking, and in particular about people pleasing, is how tense it made my relationships. You conceptually think that you're people pleasing to smooth things over, to make things easier. But because you are not being genuine, there's an inherent tension in whether or not it's working, right? Because you're so invested in it being so smooth for everybody.
Right.
It's uncomfortable. And there's this friction that comes from it. And when you start being genuine and you start letting it go, it got so much easier. And that was really relieving. The relief that came from that was unexpected. That things didn't have to change in this huge way that I thought that they were going to with a lot of my friendships, my relationships.
What got easier?
It just got easier to be able to say what was true. I said yes a lot when I meant no and when I needed to say no. And being able to see what's possible and live a life that's within that values me saying no, like that was still remains unbelievably powerful. I still get a little I'm like getting a little choked up thinking about this, like how much easier it got and how hard I thought it was going to be. Like it's not what I expected.
How do you know, because you're so used to masking prior, right? Like, how do you know that you're not just figured out a level 2 of masking. I've got,
I just leveled up my mask.
Yeah, exactly. The boss level of masking.
I think it's that internal feeling. So I talk a lot about nervous system regulation, and this feels so much more sustainable. Like that lack of friction, that the way it doesn't cost me as much to connect with my people, it feels embodied. I can sit in my feelings now, even sometimes when they're uncomfortable, and let them be. And I couldn't do that when I masked. When I was masking, my feelings always had to be pushed out. Like I had to get them either away from me, or I had to figure out, I was intellectualizing them. So I had to figure out why they existed, not let myself feel them. I had to do that thinking process to make it work. And I don't have to do that anymore. And that helped my people see me differently. So I wasn't the only one. I'm not the only one doing the assessment now. Now I will have my friends turn to me and say, that wasn't genuine. They will notice. They'll see the shift and they'll say, you don't really want to do this. Or on the other side of it, we'll say, you are so excited about this. Like, you're so excited about this. I see your energy. I see how excited you are. And like those two things, like being able to get that feedback, I couldn't get that feedback when I was masking because the performance was always what it was supposed to be. I was always giving a persona that was what they wanted or what they needed in the interaction. So it was limited by that.
And do you feel like for yourself to know that you're not on the level 2 of masking, the more sophisticated masking, for yourself, how do you recognize when you're like slipping back to that? Is there a ritual that you can do to pull yourself out of it? What do you do when you see that?
I think the way I catch myself is pretty simplistic. I talk about how much energy the mask took. So the question that I pull myself back to is, does this fit what the life I want right now? Is this going to sit in my life in a way that I'm going to feel good about? Or is this something that I learned or was taught I needed to be? And those performances, when I was doing what I was taught, it always burned a little too bright. It was a little shiny, like plastic shiny, right? Polished in a way that wasn't marble being polished. It was like that bright sheen you get on a new plastic toy or something like that, right? Like that.
Right.
It had that quality. So if I start to recognize that I'm shining that way, I know that I am behaving outside of what I really want to do.
We've talked about before about what you wish you would have known long ago about neurodivergence, and let's talk about just that specific part, like that part of the process, the gap that we've been talking about.
This in-between time.
What do you wish you would have known at that point, or what do you wish somebody would have told you?
I wish I would have known how long it was going to take. Yeah. And I wish I would have known, and I still remind myself that there's no shame in the fact that it's taking me so long to unlearn some of these behaviors, right? That it's okay, because I am unlearning a lifetime of patterns, a lifetime of behaviors, a lifetime of personas that I built to protect myself. And there's nothing wrong with the fact that I built them because I needed them. And I needed them. I needed that protection. And it's okay that I slip. It's okay that I fall back. It's okay that I didn't undo everything right away, that I didn't get my diagnosis and just magically snap my fingers and everything changed. It's okay that it took time for me to learn who I was through the process.
It's interesting don't worry, I'm not going to compare us to pipes again.
We're not going under the house again.
We're not going under the house. I'm never going under there's spiders. But in comparison to what you just said made me think of a process I'm going through right now, which is I want to get a little healthier. I want to lose a little weight, right? And at a certain point, you realize that what you're going to do, and then you fall back. It's okay. I shouldn't eat whatever chips.
Right.
Let's replace something else with that, right? Let's make these little changes. And at a certain point too, you sort of get stuck at a certain weight, right? And it happens to everybody as they're losing. It's like you get stuck there, and you can be stuck there for months. And because it's just now your body has leveled out at that.
Yeah.
Did you go through that as well during that process? And is that part of the length thing where you were just sort of felt stuck between, even more in between, but you felt like maybe you're not improving?
It's similar. I think there was a similar process I went through, but I didn't feel stuck.
No.
I thought I was done.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought I had gotten to not a plateau, but the top of the mountain. I thought I had gotten to where I was needing to climb, right? I thought I'd gotten all the way up to realize that I was at a plateau, that I had gotten to a point where I had changed enough, where things had stabilized, where my relationships were, for the most part, moving in good directions. My work was moving in a good direction, to only realize that there was another layer of me beneath it, right? I got into a place where I had felt comfortable, and then realized that there was still another layer that I needed to push.
There's a bunch more work now. You got to do that.
Yeah. Right. And that's where I'm at now, where I have hit that, okay, I got to a really good place, but there was still more work to do. And there was still more growth that I could experience. And figuring that out was,
disappointing? Frustrating?
No.
No?
No. It felt really good.
Okay.
So you know how, if we're going to use the healthy, like when you're getting to a point, I'm going to use swimming because this is what I do. I swim, right? Mm-hmm. I got to a point swimming where I was doing about 800 yards in a session. And for a long time, that felt really good. It left me so I slept really good that night because I had done enough work. But then I sat there at 800 yards. And in the last couple of weeks, this is very new, I have pushed into doing 1,000 yards. So I went another 200 yards past, and I added more time and more distance. And I'm doing it faster and faster now every time I do it. And I am starting to feel really good at that level. And that's what I realized, is that I was at the 800 yards for probably a good stretch of time. And now I'm pushing into that 1,000 yards. I'm getting into going even deeper and stretching that muscle and being able to be stronger and more genuine and more okay with what that means.
Yeah. But wherever you are in that place, it is a difficult place. And this is also, though, where you come into play, right? This is where you come in on your coaching.
This is the work that I do. This is where I help you in this gap, like where you have come to know and understand you're neurodivergent, like where you understand that this is a huge component of your life, and you start wanting to change, but not really knowing how. And you have questions you want to ask, but you don't know what questions to ask. What this actually looks like and what you're in it, and for everybody who's here trying to figure this out without a map. If you're looking for help in this process, this is the work that I do. And I love the messy middle. The messy middle is absolutely my favorite place for my clients to be. It's not necessarily my favorite place to live, but it's definitely my favorite place to find my clients. So right now I have openings for my coaching package, The Nerd Out, which is my deep dive where I get to nerd out about you. So book a Make It Make Sense call. The link is in the show notes. And let's talk about that messy middle, because that's where the magic happens.